Welcome to The Journey, Navigating Pest Control in Business. I'm Rusty Pruitt. Today we're going to talk a little bit about on the business side of running your business. We're going to talk about a thing that I learned in my insurance career. This has been years ago, probably 15 years ago. A principle called the ACOR Principle. ACOR, A-C-O-R. Starting early on in my insurance career, I was a member of a group called the Quantum Club. It's like a mastermind group for insurance agents all over the country. And it was led by a guy named Michael Jans, incredible guy, mentor, somebody I really looked up to in my insurance business when I first started. They had independent insurance agents, captive agents all across the country. And so we would come together, for events throughout the year, webinars throughout the year, really helped shorten my learning curve for growing my insurance business. And there was an event that Michael Jans had hosted, and he talked about a principle called the ACOR Principle. Again, A-C-O-R, ACOR Principle. And I use this all the time, and it's so simple that it really applies to any business. Certainly applies to pest control, applies to insurance, it applies to any business. It could be a dry cleaning business, it could be a restaurant, a consulting business. It doesn't matter. This principle is so simple in concept. And the way Michael described it is something where you could be sitting at a restaurant or bar or whatever, pull out a napkin and draw this out and describe this to somebody. So today on this podcast, you're going to want to go to our YouTube channel. So the Journey podcast or the Pruitt Pest Journey, if you look that on YouTube, there'll be a link in this episode. You're going to want to watch the video version of this. And the reason is, this is a little awkward, but I've got a piece of paper, old school style here, that I'm going to be drawing out this principle so you can put the visual with this message. And so if you're listening to this, go click the link, go online, find the YouTube video, and this will make a lot more sense. So hopefully we can pull this off. It'll make sense. I do this presentation on a dry erase board all the time to our team. We've got a lot of new people coming to join our team, here in the next 30 days. And so I'll be doing presentations on this ACOR principle. So ACOR, what does that stand for, right? So A stands for attract, okay? So when we're talking about the business journey of the customer journey, right? The getting a customer into your business, you want to attract those customers. And so this whole principle is about the journey that you take a customer or prospect through, or lost customers, right? So we always want to start with the A. So we're gonna write out attract. Okay. So what do I mean when I say attract? Okay. So first step in this journey for getting a prospect is through marketing, right? Is getting someone to raise their hand, say, yes, I want to do business with you, or I want to learn more about the product you're selling. And so how do we get a prospect to raise their hand? How do we do that? How do we get them to show interest in our product? Well, we have to do advertising, right? So we've got to do ads for our business. We could have word of mouth advertising, right? Lead generation, right? It could be any kind of digital marketing. It could be traditional marketing. It could be direct mail. Any kind of marketing or word of mouth advertising to get someone to raise their hand and say, yes, I want to learn more about your business. I want to learn more about your product. Okay. So that's what we're going to call the attract. So next, in the ACOR principle, we have the C. Okay. C stands for convert. Okay. So I'm going to write that out here on this old school sheet of paper, convert. So if you're picturing what I'm drawing here, it's a funnel going from left to right, or different stages in the ACOR principle. So we have A for attract. We have C for convert. So what does that mean? That's going to be your sales team, right? So that's going to be when someone raises their hand and says they want to learn more about the product or service that you're offering. Now we have to have someone to walk them through what you're offering. If you're a pest control owner, right, it could be you letting the prospect know about the services, the pricing, the the scheduling, all that good stuff, right? So you're educating the consumer on what you have to offer before they make the buying decision. So again, no different in a restaurant. If someone walks up to the restaurant and they're looking at the menu, right? That's part of the conversion process. What is that call to action to get that person to take the step to, if you're a restaurant, walk on in, sit down, order food, right? We're converting them into a customer. So it's very critical as you learn. You can do all the great marketing in the world. You can have the best lead generation, branding, whatever. But if you have the wrong salesperson or the wrong person representing your business that is trying to sell the product or service you have, and maybe they're not selling it the right way, or maybe they're selling on price and not value, right? That's why the convert is so critical in this step. It could be, I remember a dry cleaning service years ago. I was very interested in starting to use a new dry cleaning service. I just moved to Auburn, and there was one really close to my house. It made so much sense to have this business as my dry cleaner, right? So I call, and nobody answers. So I have to leave a voicemail. All right. So that's already a little frustrating. I don't get a call back. So I call again. I finally get someone. They answer and put me on hold. Right. I'm on hold for 2 minutes. So I finally hang up and I'm like, screw this. I'm going somewhere else. So think of all the marketing that company potentially spent, or advertising, or billboards, or whatever it is, to get me to go take that initial action to try to do business with them. And based on that one person who answered the phone, it turned me off and I went somewhere else and did business. And by the way, I've been doing business with this other company for 13 years, right? So that one person who answered that phone really impacted the potential lifetime value of a customer. And look, that person may have had a bad day. Maybe they were overwhelmed with other phone calls. Maybe, who knows? But as a business owner, you can imagine how frustrated you could be when you're spending money on marketing and you're getting people to want to do business, and you lose that potential because of the person on the other end of that phone, or the customer experience getting to that point, right? You go to a restaurant, there's a wait, they tell you 10 minutes, and then it's 20, then it's 30. What happened? You get frustrated. And if they're rude, at the hostess stand, that makes it even worse. And you're gone, you're out of there. So all the money that business owner potentially spent on marketing to get me to show up in the parking lot to go at a restaurant is really just out the window, right? So the way we convert, the way we have talk paths for our sales teams, if you're in sales, or the hostess, the way they greet the customer, right, is so critical. And you think of that. You think of, what if I've got 2 sales reps, and one has a 80% closing percentage and the other has a 20% closing percentage? So imagine that. Whoever takes that call, one with 80%, meaning 10 prospects are going to call me maybe for pest control service, 80% rep is going to close 8 out of 10 of those phone calls. 20% rep is going to close 2 out of 10. I'm still spending the same amount of marketing. 8 are becoming customers based on the way this person answers, maybe their talk path or maybe their experience, versus 2 out of 10 over here. So as you can imagine, we want to get people calling us. We want to get them interested in our service. But if we have the wrong people answering the phone, the wrong people responding, right, the wrong people, being the face of our business at that point, you'd be amazed at, just by making tweaks in how they answer the phone, their talk paths. Imagine going from 20% closing rate to an 80%, investing in training and development and coaching in that person who's answering the phone. Okay. And look, here at Pruitt Pest Control, this is something over the last 4 years we've done, I feel like, an okay job, but we're to the point now where we can really start to put some intentional processes and training to train our people that are frontline people answering the phone and responding to emails and text messages or whatever from lead generation. So as you can imagine, this is a huge part of the ACOR principle, right? So to recap, we got attract, which is basically marketing and lead generation. We've got convert, which is basically the conversion, our salespeople, the people asking for the business, people trying to convert those into customers, okay? So once we've converted them, the lead, into a customer, what's next, right? Next is O. For O, Forgive me for my terrible handwriting. So you're watching this on YouTube, you can see it. There's shadows, whatever. We're old school here, no big deal. Optimize. So we've got attract, convert, and we've got optimize. What does that mean? We've now got them. They're a customer in our line of work. They're a recurring customer, okay, most of the time. So how do we optimize that relationship? How do we optimize the lifetime value out of that customer, the lifetime revenue that that customer can generate for our business? Well, we're going to do that through, number one is cross-selling, okay? So we are going to cross-sell that customer additional services that we have to offer. I tell our people all the time, we're not going to push stuff on people and be that guy. If we ask the right questions during the conversion process, right, we know what their needs are. We know what they need. We know if we have a solution to some of their needs. Customer calls in for pest control, okay? Maybe they don't have termite protection in place. Okay, well, if we're doing a good job in the conversion process, asking the right questions, if they have termite control, if they're aware of the damage that termites can do down here in the South, right? And we do a good job of creating that value. Now, after they've become a customer on that pest control, how can we now cross-sell or offer the additional services to take care of their additional needs, right? Pest control, mosquito, termite, obviously, insulation, vapor barriers. I mean, you name it. There's so many different ways we can protect this customer, whether it's services they already have in place, that it's better to bundle them all in one area to give them the best savings, or maybe it's services they don't have. They don't realize that they have a need. They don't realize that the moisture in their basement or their crawl space could be creating conducive conditions for increased insect activity, right? So we want to optimize the relationship with this customer, again, through cross-selling, right? Through referrals. We want to get referrals from this, right? So what happens? We get additional services as we're optimizing. And I told my team yesterday in a sales meeting, how awesome is it that we can sell them additional services, which makes us more money, which protects them better, which puts our customers in a better position. I mean, it's a win-win, right? During this optimize phase, we're optimizing this relationship. Okay, that's when we want to get referrals. That's when we want to have a referral program in place to offer our customers an incentive to refer their friends, their family, right? Their neighbors. Man, in this business and that we're in, route optimization is huge. So if I can get one customer on the street, what if I can get 10? How much more profitable is that customer? How much additional savings can I potentially offer those customers on that street if I can get 10 customers on the street, right? So during this optimized stage, where you're going to take these referrals, right? So I'm going to draw this arrow all the way back, okay? And I'm going here. So if you're watching this online, which I hope you are, this is our referrals, okay? Again, shout out to Michael Jans, Quantum Club, Agency Revolution, who really opened my eyes to this concept, okay? So we've optimized the relationship with this customer. We're now asking for referrals. We're getting referrals. They're referring us. So what happens? Now we've got a name. We've got someone. So what do? We put those referrals right back in the beginning of the funnel. So that was our attraction process. So now through those referrals, we're marketing to those referrals. We're going through. Now we're going to convert those prospects, those referrals into customers. We're going to go through our sales process, our talk paths, right? We've got a 5-step process for sales here at our company. We talked about in previous episode, this BASPA, build rapport, ask questions, sell the value of you and your company. It's propose a plan, then we assumptively close, right? So we're selling the value before we ever talk about pricing. Okay, so with our referrals, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go through our conversion process, and then hopefully we're going to optimize that relationship. Now, I'm going to take a step backwards, okay? So back here after convert in this situation, what happens if during the conversion process, we're dealing with this prospect, great rapport, they say, let me call you back. And your sales rep's like, okay, I'll call you back tomorrow afternoon. Let's say our salesperson can never get them back on the phone. Man, that sucks, man. We spend all this time and energy getting the phone to ring, getting people here, right? We spend money on marketing, and now they just, we feel like this was a slam dunk. They're going to do business with us, and they fall off the face of the earth. Okay. Or what if they just tell us, no, I'm not interested right now, or no, you're too expensive, or no, I want to shop around. You just never hear back from that customer. So oftentimes what most companies do, and obviously we're guilty of this as well, is they just say, okay, they tell the prospect, okay, well, call me back if I can ever help. Are they ever going to get that call back? Not likely. So in this process, it's the mindset of if we did not convert them, again, follow me here on this paper, what do we want to do? We want to take that lead. It's still a good lead, and we want to come back and we want to put this process, this prospect back into that funnel. So again, it could be in a follow-up funnel. Maybe it's an automated funnel that we're reaching back out to that customer with a phone call, with an email, with a text, 3 months from now, 12 months from now. With our insurance business, it's always like we're going to follow up with prospects until they tell us to quit calling or until they buy, right? And so, and not in a pushy way, but in a way that we're staying in front of them. And after years of capturing all these leads and keeping them in the system, and now all of a sudden your salespeople, right? They have lists and lists and lists and thousands of people that they can call on. And just so happens you may just happen to recall that person that you proposed a service to a year ago, 2 years ago, and you're reaching out to them, and you happen to hit them at the right time that they're ready to do business with you, right? And maybe the reason they didn't do business with you the first time because they were busy. Something got brought up, they had a death in the family, whatever. You hear all these things, but so often we spend money on marketing, we get them in the funnel, we don't get their business right then, and we never follow up. Or maybe we follow up 2 or 3 times. It's a waste of resources. So if you can put them in this funnel to where you're now following up with these prospects, we've had deals that we followed up with prospects for 5 years, and all of a sudden they're ready to do business. And they'll say, like, you were so persistent in following up with me, and you were friendly doing it. You weren't pushy. You were just like, hey, we're still here. If we can help you with your insurance, if we can help you with your pest control, right? And so you can imagine the amount of leads over time. If we're closing at 60%, right? So if we propose, let's say, 100 services in the month or 100 customers, and 60 of them become customers, that means 40 of them don't. Out of those 40, maybe 20 of them, like, we don't want as a customer. They don't want us. Like, that's a dead lead. That's fine. But maybe 20 are really good leads for us, but let's put them in that system. Maybe they did go with another company and they were shopping. Okay, well, maybe we set our follow-up system to follow up in 6 months, in 12 months. Hey, we proposed a service to you a year ago. I know you were going with another company. We're here if you still need help, if you're not happy, whatever, right? So again, we paid a lot of money for the marketing to get these opportunities. Let's take advantage of them, right? So that's going to be our optimize. We have our referrals, and we have these not converted, okay, leads. So I'm writing this down on the paper. Give my chicken scratch. What we call them, like, X dates, expiration dates, meaning, okay, well, maybe they said my termite expires in my current company a year from now, give me a call then. All right, that could be 10 months down the road. Or, hey, I'm not ready to buy right now. I'm busy. My kids are going into summer. Call me back in 3 months. So we're going to call that an X date or a not converted lead, right? And it's going to go right back through that funnel. Okay. So we've now attracted, we've converted. Hopefully, if not, they go back in the funnel. We've optimized. Okay. Now the last one in the ACOR principle, R, is for retain. As you can imagine, especially in recurring business. What good is it if we get all these customers in the front door, spend all this money on marketing, sales commissions, get them converted, maybe even cross sell, but then we don't retain these customers? They're coming in the front door, they're leaving out the back door. And you've heard that saying. So we've got to have intentional processes to retain these customers. Okay, so how do we do that? How do we retain customers? It baffles me when we ask when like, well, how do you provide good, what makes you different? Oh, I provide good customer service. Our company's, good customer service. Well, if we're not intentional about good customer service, it may be great you can provide that customer service when you're a one-man show. But now all of a sudden you've added more employees, more customers, and you're getting spread thin. That phone call you used to return in 1 minute to that customer now turns into maybe 4 hours when you're busy, or you're now managing people, you're now running the business in addition to being a one-man operator, right? So we have to have intentional processes to provide that customer service, right? So I'm going to put on here, follow me online. We're going to call that intentional customer service. Intentional meaning we're not just saying, oh, we answer the phone, we provide good customer service. No, what processes do we have? What processes do we have to ensure that? For all of our brand new customers at Pest, when we go out to do that initial service, they're getting a welcome gift. I mean, it's a really cool welcome gift. It's a nice Yeti cup. It's got flash waters. It's got pins and koozies. It's got stuff, right, to provide that experience for that customer. So that is part of the retention part. We may have $15 in cost in this gift, right? And the easy thing to do is say that's a line item on the P&L we need to eliminate. But is it helping us with our referrals? Is it helping us optimize that relationship with our customer? Is it helping us retain our customer, right? It plays a critical part in the way we get 5-star reviews, with a lot of our customers. So the retention piece, intentional customer service. And some other ways, maybe it's newsletters. Like when I used to do this with insurance, it was old school. It was an old school mail out newsletter. Okay, well, for our business, maybe staying in front of our customers with an email drip system. Something to create value. We don't want to just spam our people. But maybe when swarm season's getting ready to come up, for termites, maybe we're sending out some educational direct mail pieces or emails, text, whatever, to create value for our customer. Okay, so we want to make sure we're having intentional processes on how to retain. How about analyzing, as part of this, analyze terminated customers? Okay, so I can recall a few years ago with our insurance business, our retention was anywhere from 88 to 99%. And we were a sizable insurance business. And when you do the math and you say, okay, well, if we go from 90% annual customer retention and we can move that needle to 92%, that 2% on a company of scale really is amazing, the math that it impacts, right? So you thinking if we're a $4 million revenue pest control business and 2%, if we can go from 90 to 92%, 88 to 90%, whatever, just that 2% on a $4 million business, you're talking about $80,000 a year. $80,000 a year in revenue that you can retain just by being intentional with your customer experience, just by having nurturing campaigns in place like newsletters, emails, company events. We do an annual community event for all of our customers. We invite them. We'll grill burgers, do barbecue, something where we may have 3,000 customers in our Auburn office in the area. We may do a customer event, invite every single one of them. We may have 100 people show up. So, okay, this event may cost us $2,000, but not only do we get the benefit of those 100 customers building rapport and relationships with us, a lot of them just want the free food. That's fine too. But the other 2,800 customers know that their pest control company invited them to this this community event, right? So whether they came or not, they saw the value, hopefully, of what we're doing that maybe our competitors aren't doing, right? Again, I'm not sharing any, silver bullets. A lot of our competitors probably listen to this. That's fine, but these are these are all ideas anybody can do. So it comes down to the execution of it. But my point is, this retention piece is absolutely huge. Number one, if you're not tracking your retention, I encourage you. You got to know how many customers are you losing on a monthly basis. That's a simple way to drill it down. So with our insurance business, when we tried to increase our retention by 2 percentage points, first place we started was, how many customers are we losing? And I remember at the time, it was about 80 a month. We were losing 80 customers a month. Okay. Some were moving out of state. Some, if they died, so some bad customer experience. A lot of them had super high premium increases from the carrier, right? From Allstate for us. Well, we can't control that. There's some things we can do to help mitigate it. But the retention piece, what are the proactive things? And luckily in our business with pest control, we're not going to see a lot of swings in price. So that's what I love about this business. Insurance, your carrier can go up on your rates 30, 50%, if not more. And you as the agent, you've got to go in there and defend them, and you've got to go in and try to make changes. And man, it's exhausting. We don't have that necessarily in this industry. But if we're losing 80 pest control customers, recurring pest control customers a month, first thing we want to do is, out of those 80, which ones are sort of without our control, right? And then which ones are within our control that left us. So what I mean by that, if 80 customers left us, let's say in February, how about 30 of them? If we got to ask these questions, by the way, we got to have a process in place with our customer service team to know, why are you leaving? What can we do? What can we do different, right? If 30 of them left because they've moved out of state, they're not in our service area, absolutely nothing we can do to control that, right? So I take those 80, subtract those 30. So, all right, now I've got 50. The 30 I'm not going to worry about. Now those 50, let's find the reasons why they left us. Maybe they had a bad technician or service professional that they didn't jive with, right? So maybe there's something there. Maybe, maybe the way we communicated them, they didn't like. Maybe they called us one time and we didn't answer the phone. We make mistakes. We're all companies, right? We make mistakes. Maybe we're going through growing pains with our business, and we didn't realize we didn't train everybody on the new voicemail system, and 25 voicemails went unreturned because it was a system issue, right? For whatever reason, right? What we find, though, is when customers leave us, they've gone through this whole journey with us, from the marketing to the conversion. We've hopefully optimized the relationship with them. Now we're trying to retain, but we're not going to be perfect, right? We're still going to lose customers. The ones that are still marketable, the ones that leave, and we leave on good terms, that we want to get back as a customer, right? We can still market to that person. We can still hopefully salvage that customer relationship in the future. There are times when we just make mistakes. We got to be like, we get it. We understand why you went with this other company. You've been a customer of ours for 5 years. I apologize. We want to make this right. If you don't mind, Ms. Wilson, I'm going to follow up with you in a year, and just see if we're in a position to earn your business back. We really want your business. Okay. So a good manager or a good CSR who is having that conversation, building rapport with that person who's canceling their service, or maybe they cancel their service because of cost savings, whatever it is, we don't want to get rid of that lead, right? We want to take that lead. We're going to call them a lost soul, right? So we're going to take this. We lost this customer here. Okay. We want to take this customer who was a customer, and we want to put them right back in this funnel, right back in this flow. So again, we're going to call these lost souls. Now, again, the ones that leave us and had a bad experience or something and cussed us out, and there just wasn't a fit that necessarily they don't want us as a company, or potentially we don't want them as a customer. There are those rare instances, right? But the ones that we know we want to keep, that we're just so upset that we're losing, we're going to call those lost souls. And what do we want to do? We want to put them back in this ACOR cycle, right? So how do we do that? We want to use systems for most of this follow-up. We want to use automation. We want to put email, text messages. We want to have it to where my salespeople come into the office one day and their lead management system shows them 25 leads. It could be somebody who we never converted that we followed up with a year later. It could be somebody who were lost souls that we lost a year ago and we're following up with them. Maybe we send them a gift a year later. We are so sorry we lost your business in the past. Here's a $25 gift card for, allowing us to, propose our pest service again, whatever it is, right? So we call those lost souls, or you can call those win backs. Okay, so we want to win their business back. So imagine your ROI on your marketing. And some people listening to this, you're probably not spending any money on marketing. Your business cards or your marketing is word of mouth. It's getting out in the community. Perfectly fine. If you're trying to scale your business and you start investing money in real marketing and lead generation, right? I mean, we're spending thousands of dollars a year on marketing. So imagine your ROI, your return on investment, when you can take someone who was a lost soul that you want to win back and you put them back through your funnel, right? You put them back in that funnel and maybe a year later you're calling on them. Miss Wilson, I remember you left our company a year ago. Again, we really want to earn your business back. I don't know how the service has been with your new company, but we're here. We're here if you need us. What if they've had a bad experience with that company and just you happen to call on them? Or maybe they had a technician or a service professional that retired, that's no longer there, and maybe you hit them at the right time that they're like, yes, I'd like to give you guys a chance. So it's that ROI that keeps multiplying because you've already spent the marketing dollars once. So you're getting the most out of this situation. So again, it's the ACOR principle, ACOR, attract, convert, optimize, and retain. Again, I would say this principle really applies to any business. Again, a restaurant business, I'm spending money on ads. They're coming in the door. I'm converting them into coming inside to purchasing a meal. How do I optimize that customer if I'm a restaurant? Okay, well, I'm letting them know about our specials. I'm letting them know, hey, in addition to your entree, how about some appetizers? Hey, you should really try this particular appetizer. It's amazing. I tasted it earlier when I was training. Whatever. Now all of a sudden that customer who's already there, instead of spending $40 on the meal, you're spending $60 because you're offering these things. You're optimizing that relationship. And of course, the retention piece. How does that apply in the restaurant business? Are you thanking these customers when they're walking out the door? Come back and see us. There's a restaurant here in Auburn that they've captured my phone number whenever we did a reservation or a wait list. And about every 3 months, I'll get a text, from the manager. I'm sure it's automated, but it's coming from the manager. Hey, Rusty, I know it's been a while since you've probably been here. We just wanted to thank you for your past business at our restaurant. Here's a 10% off coupon to come back in this week to take advantage of these specials that we've got, right? So now, top of mind, I may potentially go back to that restaurant, right? So it's that retention piece. So again, whether it's a one-time service, recurring services, the ACOR principle applies. I'll be honest with you, we got this really nailed down with our insurance business after doing it for almost 14 years, right? Our pest control business, we're 4.5 years old. We are still working on the systems to do this because a lot of this, the attractive marketing, the convert is your salespeople. How are you training your salespeople? What are they saying? But a lot of this, the follow up if you don't earn their business, follow up if you lost their business. A lot of that has to be done with some sort of system, something that's scalable, something like a software system. Again, I want my salespeople to walk into the office that day, open their computer, and they've got 25 leads because we built the system on the front end that now populates these leads from someone that maybe they proposed a service to 3 months ago, 3 years ago, a customer we lost 3 years ago. Okay. So free marketing at that point. So I hope this has helped. As I mentioned in this episode, you'll have a link to go directly to our YouTube channel to watch this. I've got all this drawn out on paper. I'm a visual person. Visual learning, you can see, when you see it visually, it is a game changer. It's so simple. You can draw it on a napkin, on a paper napkin, explaining this to somebody. Take this, explain it to your team. Let them see it, and it's amazing the visual representation will do for you, and then what it'll do for your team when you take it to your team. As always, you have any questions, reach out to me, shoot me an email, shoot me a message, Facebook, LinkedIn. Also, visit our Facebook page, The Journey Podcast. There's a link in this episode. Go visit that, follow us, and then leave us a 5-star review if you feel you're getting value in this, and give us feedback. What do you want to hear? Again, this is not Rusty saying, man, we're the guru. We got this figured out. The journey is just that. It's about the journey that we are on here at Pest Control, starting a company, building this thing, making mistakes, skinning our knees, trying to learn, trying to get better. So this is something that we're really in a place now with our business that we can really focus on. And so I hope this has driven some sort of value for you. Until next time, peace out. Talk to you later. Talk to you soon.